Go ahead.
This is the PhD colloquium at the Laboratory of Production Engineering, and today we want to hear the presentation of Sheila, who is presenting his recent project, Green Lab, which will also be the topic of his PhD thesis.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me say it in Dutch. Guten Morgen. Ever since the last time we met, I spoke a little bit about what I did, what I was doing there, which was to find out the success rates of the Fab Lab ecosystem. And from the research, we discovered like a huge lapse, which is mainly two. One is like the lack of collaboration, and one is the lack of communication between the Fab Labs, and which basically contradicts the scope of the Fab Lab ecosystem itself. So in some later slides, I will talk a little bit about some of the contradictions, and to talk about what the contradiction led to in terms of like the new project that I'm presently working on here. And to move on, ever since the last time we spoke, so there has been some little modifications and minor stuff. Like, firstly, with the help of Dr. Tobias, my PhD application was approved, and I've started taking some German lessons, which is not so easy, but I'm trying to, and I hope with the help of everybody, I'll be able to get my hands around speaking German fluently, maybe in some months or maybe some years' time. And also I got involved in getting myself becoming a certified project manager in terms of like the Prince2, and I started the roadmap by doing the Prince2 Foundations certification, and I also got the Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. So, going to the real focus of today, like talking about one of the key results of the Fab Lab that we did in the faculty, we've discovered like there is a huge gap between the collaborative mechanisms in the Fab Lab ecosystems. So, using the results, we discovered and being backed up by the AGIA group, which is the Arab German Young Academy, we decided to do a project which is which is titled Twinning for Innovation. And the focus of the research is to see how we can link Fab Labs in Germany to Fab Labs in Arab countries, to see how they can share ideas, share knowledge, share information and innovations, to see how they can work properly based on interest, the commonality between the problems, and also based on the technological capabilities. That's one of the key areas. And presently, we've executed the first side of the research, which is going through the Fab Labs in Germany, and we've been to at least 11 to 12 Fab Labs in Germany and in Austria as well. And we are moving on to the next phase of the research, which is visiting the Arab countries. Next week, I and Hauke will going to Tunisia to conduct a field study on how we can probably develop a training strategy between Fab Labs in Arab and Fab Labs in Germany. So that's just a little bit about one of the key things the first research led to. And moving on to the main reason why we're here today, the key focus of my research, my PhD thesis, is measuring and managing user innovation in emerging economy, where I'm looking into using my country, Nigeria, as the case study. And the reason why I looked into user innovation is because, according to the definition, user innovators are firms or individuals that create artifacts and directly benefit by using them. And mostly from research that I've done, I realized most things that were created actually emanated from user innovation. Looking at the case of Dr. Martin here, like from his TED talk, he said he started a farm and he bought a tractor. The tractor broke down, he repaired it, and the tractor broke down again, and he realized, if I keep repairing this stuff, he ended up being broke himself. So he decided, instead of using the consumer on the off-the-shelf product, to be better for you to create something yourself. So he ended up building his own tractor. And he is the perfect example of a user innovator, because most user innovators don't just want to create something for commercial purpose, like just to make gain. They want to create something and freely reveal it to others, so that other consumer communities can also benefit from this user innovation. and which is one of the case studies he did by the GVCS, the Global Village Construction Set that he made open. So that is one of the key stuff about user innovation, and that's why I'm interested in it, to see how user innovation can be done in Nigeria. What is the state of user innovation in Nigeria? What is the status of user innovation? How innovative are the Nigerians in terms of innovation itself? So I would like to talk a little bit about some statistics I discovered about user innovations, just to expatiate more on it. 48% of the surgical equipment, according to Von Hippel, were generated from user innovation, and also 80% of the scientific instruments were developed from by users. A majority of the instruments used in oil refining and in semiconductor processing and in sports equipment, also they were all generated from the users. And most of these stuff were actually commercialized, which means user innovators actually create stuff that other commercial firms do benefit from. And according to the definition, user innovators are firms or individuals. So looking at it, I felt like, okay, user innovation, I'll talk about the last point during the slide. I felt like, okay, user innovation could be a company and an individual person. So I felt, okay, it would be interesting to do the project as a dual-faceted project in terms of like measuring the state of user innovation and managing user innovation. By measuring the state of user innovation, if you look at the major drivers of innovations, to be innovative, you need to look at the STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And mostly that talks about the higher institutions and research and development. So I thought, okay, it would be interesting for me to find how innovative are the higher institution students, because in order for a country to grow, it has to be innovative. And in order for you to be innovative, you need to involve lots of the younger generations, which is higher institution students. They need to be involved in the innovation, in the rate of innovation. So I thought, okay, it would be interesting to find out the state and the mindset of Nigerians in terms of innovation. How innovative are the Nigerian students, higher institution students, how innovative are they? And also part of measuring it, according to the research by Von Hippel, he looked at it from firm and consumer level. So I also felt, okay, it would be interesting to see how innovative are the SMEs, the small medium enterprises in Nigeria. What are the challenges they go through? What are the barriers to the innovativeness of all these companies and also the students? So which led to the second part of the research. Then depending on the outcome of this, we'll now use this managing user innovation, because most existing research were just based on measuring user innovation, because they've done the research on measuring user innovation in the UK, in Netherlands, in Portugal, and in Canada, but none has really been done in developing country concepts apart from in India, and it was just a literature review. So this is more like an enhancement to what they've done and making it better by trying to see how we can encourage user innovation in developing economy. And in so doing, I felt it would be interesting to encourage user innovation by introducing the Green Lab concept, the Green Lab microfactory. According to my plan, the Green Lab microfactory is not just going to be a dump, but it's going to be connected. The Open Lab, which is the Open Lab structure in the HSU, will be the parent of the Green Lab, because I'm trying to use the concept of the modular concept of the Open Lab being in a container, trying to incorporate it into the Green Lab to see how I can implement it in a faster way and in a more scalable way. So Green Lab will just draw up from implementing the concept already developed by the open source ecology developed by Dr. Martin, the open source hardware by Dr. Joshua Pierce, and also from the Fab Lab concept. So I intend to incorporate all those things to make them a little bit streamlined to the context of Nigeria itself. In terms of like, I want Green Lab, the name of Green Lab came from the fact that I would like it to be much more sustainable and green, to be ecological, by generating electricity itself. Everything we need, it has to be localized, localization of resources, generating electricity by using solar panels or any other renewable energy method, which I know we have in abundance in Nigeria. And also to be able to open the eyes of everybody, like, okay, you don't need too much to do a lot. you actually need the willingness and the mindset to do things and the support of every other organization that's already in existence to get things done. That is the concept of the Green Lab. And the inception plan I have is to take Green Lab to a city in Nigeria called Ibadan, which was where I was born. So I intend to take it down to Ibadan because Ibadan is more, will give us the opportunity and the space and the resources, because there are lots of green resources there that we could use to experiment and to do the grassroots innovations and research and development that we need. So I want to take it down to Ibadan to at least have enough space and enough time and flexibility to be able to do an adequate research. And also, this I hope to get done by latest end of 2018. The Green Lab should have been functional. And the future projection of the Green Lab is in 3 to 5 years, I hope, due to the scalability and the modularity nature that I'm imbibing from other well-established concepts, I hope Green Lab would have spread all over the country of Nigeria, and also for other parts of Africa to be able to imbibe and learn from how we getting all the things done. Because one of the key factors is due to the research in Fab Labs, they don't have like an established sustainable method. So with the Green Lab and learning from other well-established concepts, we would like to see how we can make Green Lab itself to be self-sustainable, like generating income itself and keeping everything ecological as possible. So that is the future projection. And in terms of like the importance of the research, apart from just the furtherance of the user innovation itself, which is thinking about the existing researches, apart from the furtherance of the existing researches already done, Green Lab will provide access and provide information about the scientific information about user innovation and open innovation that were not known or undiscovered in Nigeria. So I hope with this project, we'll be able to get information about the state and more information about the user and open innovation in Nigeria, and also enhance innovative capabilities and capacities of Nigerians, and not just Nigeria, of the African continent as a whole. Because I believe, by my own speculative projection, I believe this, with every other studies we've done, this would really be impactful in the continent of Africa itself as a whole. And also, to develop an applicable, replicable, adaptable, and sustainable method for opening up and developing an open source based microfactory which is self-sustainable. That is just my objective for the research right now. And yeah, I hope I'm not too fast, but that's the end of the short presentation. For comments, questions, and suggestions, and any ideas on how we can make it a reality and get it done. Thank you.
When you say you want to implement like a Green Lab in Nigeria, what is where the money coming from?
Yeah.
You need some money there.
Yeah, the plan is to go into crowdfunding, because I spoke with Dr. Tobias and Dr. Martin, is to go into crowdfunding, because I already had the problem before, because I was thinking of going to Nigeria to try and meet up with people and getting support, because I don't really want to involve the political structures in Nigeria in the project, so that they will not use some of the crazy methods to run it. So I just wanted to be as chill, but based on my conversations with both of them, they said we should look into maybe crowdfunding. So I think it would be one of the main cells.
But is there an opportunity to get like funding from the government there, or like?
Yeah, there's an opportunity, but I don't really want to go there because they will use corruption to mess it up. Because a project that should take like 20,000, they will tell you they spent 10 million euros, and at the end it's just a small project. So you see they've already tarnished the image of the project while it has not even started. So I don't really want to involve them in it.
How many people are living in Nigeria?
Close to 200 million. And that's the stuff, because when Dr. Tobias told me to do the research of Fab Lab, the first thing I checked was, okay, this Fab Lab is interesting, but 200 million population country doesn't even have a single Fab Lab. So I felt like, no, it's actually going to be like giving water to somebody walking in the desert. So it's going to be really, really effective there. So that's why I want to do something like this.
I mean, it's also like in Nigeria, people are really well educated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that?
Very
Nigeria
well.
is the country where most people from all over, go to all over the world
Yeah.
because they are so well educated, and that's something a very good precondition
Yeah.
for the project too.
And I know with the state of things in Nigeria, they are really hungry for opportunities to make their lives better. And with my conversation with you, and I told you, Dr. Martin, a little bit about it, like we actually have like an opportunity to create experiential learning platform for students as well, because most students, by the time they're done, most have theoretical knowledge, but by developing the real life concepts, they will be able to get the experiential, the hands-on knowledge they desire or they lack. Because by the time you study and you don't get a job, you're just going to be idle and you become frustrated at the end of it. But if we can engage them in such mechanisms, like, okay, come learn something. We may not give you money, but at least your intellectual level will keep increasing. And you can also triangulate this stuff to other people as well, because there are so many projects that we have already developed in the pipeline, like, okay, developing based on the Fab Lab concept, teaching people how to develop the solar panel itself, because in terms of that we'll be attending or solving one of the social issues in Nigeria, which is electricity. We don't have electricity. So if we can do something like this and teach people how to make solar panel, because it's basically scorching hot in Nigeria. It's always sunny, and if it's not sunny, it's raining, and when it's raining, it's windy. So we can harness that, do a wind vane, do solar panel, use all those opportunities, and teach people how they can do all those things themselves, and keeping them letting them know, like, okay, it has to be open, in as much as you can generate income from this, but you have to be able to teach. You must be willing to teach others and keep it open for every other person to be able to learn, so we can spread this whole thing as a gospel from one particular city down to all over Nigeria and all over Africa. That's just the projection right there.
What do you think are the main challenges for this?
Yeah, challenges, number one will be everything is based on finance. Number one, financial challenges. Number two, I think security. How do we ensure the protection of the equipment? And number three, based on the conversation between I and Dr. Martin yesterday, to be the technical aspect of it, like getting there. Because I know in Nigeria people just want to make money immediately. But how do we change the orientation? Like, okay, money will come later, but let's just ensure the social well-being. Because if we create everything in a social way, then the money will come later. But I know due to the structure and everything, people just want to make quick cash. And the technical side in terms of like how do we ensure the building up of all those technical capabilities that we need. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Focusing on your PhD topic, I wonder why you want to do both, the user innovation and the lab. Because I think both are actually so much effort, which would be each a PhD topic. So I wonder if it wouldn't be better if you also want to have like a strict schedule for opening up the lab in 2018. I wonder if it would be worth just focusing on the lower part, like developing the I mean, in the long term it might be interesting also for the user innovation research to have the data on Nigeria, right? But I wonder if it would really, really help you and serve you for developing the lab concept. I wonder if it's not too much.
Too much. Yeah, I don't think it's too much because that's a good one, because I don't think it's going to be too much because initially I already started running the online survey on both user innovation in the higher institution and SMEs. But I got stuck because of the technology disparities, because most people weren't responding. In 2 months I only got 2 responses, but I figured out like if I looked at every other previous researches, they did field survey. So I had already made plans on how to conduct field survey, and that was why I streamlined it to the southwestern part of Nigeria, so that at least it's just going to be like 6 to 7 states, which is manageable, and it should be done within 3 months. The analysis, the survey analysis itself, survey conduction analysis should be like 3 to 5 or 6 months, which I still think falls into the project itself, because if I want to manage it, I should be able to know the state of it. So if I neglect one and I just do one, I'm not going to be doing something that's really effective. And the effectiveness is what I'm really focusing on right here, because I need to know, okay, how innovative are the Nigerian students and the SMEs? What are the challenges? Okay, if I introduce this structure, what would be the rate of it? And based on, I know we had this conversation when I was talking about the Fab Lab concept. If we introduce the Fab Lab or other initiatives, what would the rate of the country be in the Global Innovation Index, if you remember?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to see how we can do that. And if we follow, I believe if I can follow this strict measure and seeing the problem, at least this is like the first one is like a diagnostic measure to find out the cause of the problem. So introducing the solution, nobody will just go to the hospital and take injection for the disease he or she doesn't have. They first have to be diagnosed. So I think the first one is the diagnosis, and the second one is the preventive measures. That's just my aim around that.
So do you go along or build up upon the research approaches of Van Hippel and all these people doing the research for several countries, that it's being comparable from the numbers?
Okay.
Like so you told us about the results of the UK survey, Netherlands, Finland, or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you build up your survey and your approach similarly, that you make the numbers comparable?
Not totally. I make sure like like 60 to 70% of the survey generated from theirs, but at the same time I look into the case of Nigeria itself.
Okay.
Because I can't just take it from the developed countries concept, because that's just gonna be dumping it. But I looked into it, being a Nigerian myself, I used like the initiative of what would the people want, what could be the problem, but trying not to be too much speculative about it. So I used both the survey as the guideline, and I also gathered information about the state of Nigeria and the state of innovations to gather questions to focus on.
So I
One
guess
big challenge will be also to develop all the open source hardware. As you stated in your
Yeah.
talk, there's only part of it already developed, all the equipment we need
Mhm.
to establish our own urban environment somehow.
Yeah.
And this is a big challenge, I think, to find lots of motivated people to develop this hardware stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, once it is there, everything is fine,
Yeah.
but the labs have to be stuffed with the open source hardware too.
Yeah.
we should think about, making our last holiday in 3 years commonly to Nigeria. 1 week build up the lab.
Have a boot camp.
So we build up the first lab for ourselves, or
Yes.
And also using Dr. Machin's methods of doing a lab in a day, doing this equipment in a day, something like that.
You know, the idea is when we have the conference in December, it's 2 days conference, and at the end, on the Friday, will have a workshop on building an open source 3D printer. We will invite and call people to participate in that. They have to pay for that, but it will be an open source 3D printer event. And you talk about another, I don't know if you mentioned it in your talk, but we discussed it, that there will be workshops not only on brick presses, people come and build a brick press, take it home, but also they start a workshop doing the same thing with the open source wind turbine. So we have to have all this stuff open source, and then we can really build an open lab.
Yeah. And based on what I've already realized is to get this human resources side of it, to go to the people that really needs it, like the younger generation, and that is going to the university students, like, what are you guys doing during your spare time? You can come and gain this knowledge, and it's gonna be for free at least. So at least getting the human resources side of it done by involving the students from higher institutions or from the secondary school platforms, getting them involved right from the inception phase of it. That's one of the plans I had in mind, or that I have in mind, about how to get people to support. Because if you go to the corporate structures like the established one, they will strangle you out. So it's just to go from starting from the bottom and trying to work the way down to the top.
Yeah, we also talked about, definitely start from the bottom, but involve we believe in the subject matter experts quite a bit, because they can help you. The younger people don't have the experience. We're talking about picking the top talent that you have to have your hands in, you have to have a professional life in that in order to be able to open source it at that point. So basically top talent that can come, we found that a lot of retired subject matter expert professionals really work well, but we definitely have to tap into that. So bypass the corporate structures, but use their talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And try and find a way to get the difficult Nigerian side, to get them to be submerged. Because I know some Nigerians are a little bit difficult. Yeah, just trying to get that in check.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic idea, and it sounds so logical, so that it has to be done.
Yeah.
But I wonder if political support is necessary from the Nigerian government or from the German. Is there a possibility not only to get funding, to get political support?
If the political support comes from outside Nigeria, that would be good for the project. But if it comes within Nigeria and we have this high rates of corruption, it's not going to be good for the project.
Outside is better.
Outside
Support
is
from
better
outside.
then, because the plan is, my plan is to show them like, okay, if you want to remain corrupt, but these things will be done anyways. Because I can tell you for a fact that if you go to the government in Nigeria and tell them you want to do this, it's either they look, how can I steal money from this idea? And this stuff to me shouldn't take more than 50,000 euros. But once they are assigning 1 million euros to a project that should take 50,000 euros, that is wastage of resources. And that would have already messed up the image of what you're trying to do. So then you are part of the group, part of the corrupt groups. So that is why the political structures in Nigeria, I don't really want to involve them in it. I just want this to be like a background project, just to show them like, okay, things will be done, things will be changed. And but if we get like, if we get like a political support from outside, they should be ashamed of themselves. They will be ashamed of themselves anyways. So that's just it.
Is it in terms of sustainable development policies, something like that, or with agencies, co-working with, cooperate with agencies,
Yeah.
like the German GIZ?
Yeah.
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 I think that could be a way.
Yeah. Even the engineers without border, like Dr. Tobias mentioned last time we had a meeting, using all the structures, and because they've already done some stuff in developing countries, done some research, so I think getting knowledge from them and how they did it would actually be good to the success of the project.
So as far as I understood you correctly, the concept of the Green Lab is currently not all the way established and defined, right?
Yeah.
You're currently visiting different types of labs and you want to take all the pros from all the different labs, like the good ideas together into one idea that's named Green Lab.
Yeah.
But can you already state some differences to the already established labs that will be part of the Green Lab concept, or are you still in defining?
Okay, like to start from the differences between the Green Lab is one key difference is Green Lab from our own point of view is it should be part of the grid. It must be able to generate sufficient energy for itself to sustain the lab itself and to be able to sustain itself in terms of like generation of income by maybe conduction of workshops, like if you want to learn how to build solar panel, which at the end would be good for your own lifestyle, you should be able to at least support the project. And we're not asking for much, but at least something to keep the project going on and on. Because we're giving you more than one thing. We're giving you how to build your solar panel, how to make money, you can start a business from it, and how to teach others as well. So 3 things, you're getting 3 from 1. So that's one of the differences from every other project. And one other key stuff is collaboration, which be part of especially part of the Fab Labs. Collaboration would be the key source of it, because in order to be innovative, you need to be collaborative as well. So my plan is to focus more on that, because they always say, single tree cannot make a forest. You have to join, like it has to be like the distributive efforts of everybody environment here, and it has to be strictly open source. Like most of the stuff should be, the plan is to develop everything ourselves, so that at least we will know how to manage and maintain those artifacts ourselves and teach others as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much once again. Let's change the world.
Yeah. Now we talk about getting a cape, a Superman cape. The Superman cape is time to change the world.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.